Hello, and welcome to Unity Church on the Mountain from my home. Today, the title of the talk is Compassion. But first, let's open with affirming together the opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. Together, let's take a deep breath. Holding it for a short time, we release, relaxing into this moment. Going to that still inner place. And from there, let us affirm together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So the title of the talk today is Compassion. Compassion. This is a word that's used quite often. And sometimes I think it might be even misunderstood. Or there might be other things that we take as compassion that really are not compassion. I would like to begin by saying some words that are often used as synonyms but really have a different meaning. So let's start with pity. Pity. Oh, that poor boy. He doesn't have his parents anymore. Oh, that poor girl. She can't help it. She was born that way. Now, what do these things share that are not like compassion? Is there not some form of judgment in that statement? Is there not some form of seeing myself as more and them as less in that pity? Think about how you've seen that used. Even what Mr. T used to say, pity the fool. Okay, so the next word. And this is almost almost nothing. I believe I see this as an upward progression. Upward progressing in vibration. And from pity, we move to sympathy. And in sympathy, there really is an effort or a feeling of the other person's feeling. In other words, there is a kindred feeling. I can look within my own experience and I can believe that I understand what this other person is going through. I have had a similar experience and I can sympathize with that other person. I believe that their experience must be like mine. You see how this is comparative? Do you see how this is coming from thought? There is this thought that because I had an experience like this, and they're having an experience that is in some way similar, that their internal experience of that outward experience must be like mine. Progressing onward, some of us, at times, Probably all of us at some times have felt empathy. And in empathy, there is none of this comparison. It is a direct experience of the same feeling that this other person is having. There is no words. It just happens. We feel that same energy enter us, and it enters in the heart. And we feel what they are feeling. That's empathy. Compassion. Let's go back to empathy. When we're in empathy, we are going right down the hole into that same feeling as our neighbor. But when we are in compassion, there is something more going on. There is a lifting up. We hold that higher vibration that is the Christ consciousness. And we see that Christ consciousness in our neighbor. I heard this statement in relation to anti-racism, and I thought, well, that is a statement of compassion. And it's sort of a mathematical formula. It goes like this: awareness plus action equals compassion. Awareness plus action equals compassion. And that action is one of the main things that makes it different from all of these other stages that I've been discussing so far. There is this impetus to action. It's not that we think we should have action. It's that we know the action and we are moved into it. We are motivated to it. There is this drive for action that comes from within. I would like to go on and further characterize this compassion. I've got another definition. When we are certain of the oneness that we are with all that is, and we share that certainty with our neighbor, we are in compassion. When we know that there is no other, that there is no I separated from them, and we know that together, all of us, without exception, are expressions of the source. We are Christed, each of us. That Christ is within us. It is the perfect potential of who we all are. When we know this, and we know it in our neighbor, so that in actuality there is no neighbor. It is only ourself that we see. We are in compassion. We can't help but be in compassion. It is a product of this oneness. Sometimes it's called a non-dual consciousness. Oneness. It is being in that presence. I'd like to define this another way. Let's look at this from a different way. When we have not even begun our journey of awakening, we are living in darkness, separated from, with an awareness that we are separated. It's an illusion, but we are convinced of this, and we identify ourselves as separate. We don't even know any different. We can't even admit any difference. And is that not where we all start? And then somehow we begin to know, whether we've read something, whether we have been to a lecture or several lectures or several books we've read, but at some point, we have all had that experience where we begin to know that there is more to it, that there is this objective truth, truth with a capital T. We call this step in the enlightening process the illuminated mind. Now go back to our terms. We begin with pity and we move to sympathy. In sympathy, we have approached the illuminated mind. These are loose. It's a loose model, but it sort of works here. When we've been in the illuminated mind and we begin to practice the presence, practice seeing the Christ in others, seeing it in ourselves, giving that same to everyone we meet, allowing that, we begin to move into the awakened heart. The awakened heart. That journey from head into heart, from illumined mind into the awakened heart. We begin to actually feel, to know without words the truth. And the more we spend in a heart coherent state, the more time we spend giving this knowing to others by our own energy, we begin to move into realized soul. In realized soul, there is nothing that separates us from spirit, from what we see as the illusion sight of some other that is different from us. It's not even thought of. In fact, there is no thought here. It is a knowing without words, and it defies any description. And in those moments when we have a realized soul, we are in compassion, and there is no way we could be in anything else. And there are other things that go with this. There is that joy that is so much more than happiness. Happiness comes and goes, but once we're in joy, when we're in joy, it doesn't matter what happens around us. Whereas happiness depends on what's going on. When we are in that realized soul, we experience gratitude. There is no choice about it. It just is. It's part of who we are. And it's part of who we always are, only we cloud that. We experience big love, unconditional love. There is no need for forgiveness because we are already in big love. When we are in the realized soul, there is only love. We are seeing as Spirit sees, and we are knowing as Spirit knows. And that is when we have true compassion. Spirit guides us, and we know what is ours to do, and we are compelled by some inner energy, some inner force to do what is ours to do. In unity, we talk about these same things. We use the words from the Bible. Charles Fillmore talks about beginning as Adam man. we move to Moses, where we have the law, but it's a head thing. It's written down on the tablets. We know what to do from what's been written. From that we move to the Elijah consciousness, which is the awakened heart. The law is written on our heart. There was a talk that I gave not long ago. I used Jeremiah in it. It was called Written on the Heart. That's when we move from illumined mind to awakened heart. We no longer have this written rule of law because we know in our heart what is ours to do. And finally, we have that Christ within us. And that is the realized soul. That full potential that we all have, that perfect potential, that is the Christ within each of us. And it is who we truly are. When we are in this state, compassion is a natural state. When we are in this state, we give that big love freely to everyone in the world without exception. This vibration, this energy radiates from us, through us, from the universe, and it touches everything in the universe, every being without exception. There is a lifting as each person in this universe comes to that higher vibration. We lift every being around us closer to that realization. But can we do it for them? No. But it sure helps. Think about how easy it is to reach that meditative state when we're together versus when we're alone and meditating, praying together versus praying alone. And we're never alone. But when we're together, see, it's one of those paradoxes. There is a difference. There is this ease. We're all having the same intention at the same time, lifting our vibrations together. We become this harmonious resonance, lifting one another as we lift ourselves. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. It is not defined by our location physically, because our spirit knows no distance and time. But for some reason, our ego consciousness is able to let go easier when we are in that close proximity. All right, so last week we talked about invincibility and how we get this invincibility from being in that state that I'm now calling the realized soul. We get it, some of it, from the awakened heart. Certainly, there is an increase in our vibration and a relaxing of the body, a releasing of tension when we can get to that awakened heart state. It allows the blood to go into our inner organs, feeding our those systems in our body that work without our knowledge. Our immune system, our digestion, our endocrine system, all of these things that are necessary for realizing our wholeness. And what techniques do we use to move from head into heart, into the realized soul? What's these techniques that we've been teaching about each week? We can take our spirit breaks and affirm to ourselves the truth of who we are and the truth of who others are. Doing this throughout the day, and it doesn't take a long time. A couple of breaths, and while we breathe, we change our consciousness. We can use the welcoming practice if we have a little more time. We can easily take our spirit break whenever we notice that we've moved off center. It reminds us to take that break. We can practice the welcoming practice, noticing what the feeling is in our body, with this feeling that is accompanying our movement from center. Noticing what it looks like in our consciousness, giving it a funny name so that we don't take ourselves too seriously. Sitting with it, realizing that it is a part of us. It is a part of the universe. And then releasing it. That freedom of allowing it to move into spirit. Allowing spirit to move through us. We let it go, and its power over us is gone. And so, freedom. We have that deepening practice of following the line. Once we move to that center, if something continues to pull us, we follow that line into that, and we begin the welcoming practice again with whatever this new pull was. We have our daily devotional time. We can spend it in affirmative prayer. We can bring in other techniques such as centering prayer or mindfulness. All of these things help us to move from the head, illumined mind, into the heart, the awakened heart, and into realized soul. So I've written a song that summarizes a technique. The technique gets the name the Moses Code from James Francis Twyman. Spirit led him to see that name of God that Moses received on the mountain when he had his encounter with the burning bush. And he was given his purpose, what was his to do, which was to go to Egypt and free the Israelites from the Pharaoh. And he asked Spirit, who am I to say sent me? And we are told that Spirit responded, tell them the I am that I am sent me. And James Francis had the realization. You see these old manuscripts, they didn't have punctuation. They didn't even have capital letters, or you could say everything was a capital letter. But there was a punctuation mark missing. It should be read, I am that, comma, I am. For me, it's been one of the most powerful tools to enter into that oneness consciousness, that non-dual consciousness, that Christ consciousness. When I find myself in judgment of another or myself, I am that. And then the whisper, I am, as the universe responds. That is not only in me, it is also in the oneness. I am that. And the universe says, I am. I am too. We are. I am that. I am. We can use that on our spirit break too. So I have this song that I wrote. I call it The Awakened Heart. Take this opportunity to move from head and into heart. Follow not the words. Follow the rhythm. Follow the melody. Follow it with your heart and not with your head. Just allow it to move through you as a prayer. And know that it is a prayer affirming that you are the awakened heart. And anybody you meet, you are the awakened heart too. That's why it's not worded as I am the awakened heart, but you are the awakened heart. So just allowing, take a deep breath and move into that inner space. You are the awakened heart. I am that I am. You are the awakened heart. I am that I am. I am that. I am that. I am that I am. You are the illumined mind. I am that I am. You are the illumined mind. I am that I am. I am that. I am that. I am that I am. You are the awakened heart. I am that I am. You are the awakened heart. I am that I am. I am that. I am that. I am that I am. You are the realized soul. I am that I am. You are the realized soul. I am that I am. I am that. I am that. I am that I am. You are the illumined mind. I am that I am. You are the awakened heart. I am that I am. So spend your time in devotion each day. Even a little goes a long, long way. Say yes to taking spirit breaks throughout your daily life, affirming the truth of who you are and seeing that same truth in everyone you meet. Together, let us affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much.